Came across this video a couple of days ago. It was sent to me by someone, and upon viewing it I was so grieved and sickened. And it's not even necessarily because of Kirk Franklin himself, because he's been compromised and has been compromising for years. What really grieves me, what really irks me and burdens me, is that there's a generation who are in church and they see this and nothing inside of them is moved. Nothing inside of them will feel that this is wrong, that something here is out of order. And it brought me to the scripture, Judges 2:10, where it says, "And also that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel." We know in the Bible, when it talks about knowing, it regards intimacy. It's saying a generation who had no intimacy with God, no real relationship with God, and no knowledge of the works which he had done for their parents or their grandparents or their generations. And it speaks to us today because there is a generation who have no intimacy with God. They don't hate what he hates, they don't love what he loves, and they have no understanding of the testimony of their parents or their grandparents or what came before. They have no knowledge of it. They're not acquainted with how the older generations got over. They're not acquainted with their holiness. They're not acquainted with their separation. They're not acquainted with their sanctification and their separation from the world. Ezekiel says regarding the priest, "And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean." There is no separation these days between worldliness and the church. The Bible tells us to love not the world and neither the things that are in the world, because if we love those things, the love of the Father is not in us. There's a generation who can't discern between clean and unclean because the church, the true church, is not doing a good enough job of separating itself from the uncleanness of the false church. Because we're in a battle, we're in a war. It's the holy church versus the unholy church, the harlot church. And God is looking to prepare his bride. And his bride must be spotless. If you are a leader or have any influence over young people, I urge you to take notice of what is happening in the kingdom. Because the kingdom is like a net. It has good fish and it has bad fish. The wheat and the tares will grow together, but there's going to be a day of separation. And if you really want to impact young people, you need to understand where their mind is. Many of them cannot see or discern the difference between the unclean and the clean because they've never been taught. They've never been shown the difference. They don't understand the difference because maybe some of us haven't lived the difference. This is a very serious time. We have a responsibility to show the generations the cost of the oil. We can't allow generations to be born and raised in church and not understand the price of true intimacy and power with God. I urge those who care about young people, those who love young people, to seek God in prayer and fasting for your children, your loved ones, your cousins, your friends, those in your sphere of influence. Some things, some kinds of spirits and demonic forces are untroubled unless they are attacked with prayer and fasting. It's time to turn the heat up. Stay close to Christ.